So in the last video, we have already created our own agent with the help of Google ADK, which is Agent Development Kit. Now, to develop the agent, we have used just LLM, right? So LLM is the brain of creating agents, right? It is the brain. Now, if you want to provide your agent with hand and legs, okay, which is like using which they can do something, that is called tool in an agent. Okay, so whenever an agent is having access to various and different tools, we call it tool based agents with ADK. So we'll be discussing this right today, extending AI agents with tools from text generation to real world action. Okay, so we'll cover what is a tool agent, built-in tools, custom function tools, ADK limitations, okay, and also running a tool agent, how we can run a tool agent, right? So a tool agent is basically some AI agent which can invoke external tools to perform real world action, right? So which is like not only generating something, but we are able to trigger some external API. We are able to search some external database. So all these things are possible by using tools, right? So in the basic agent, what we have seen, we are sending the prompt, the LLM is processing everything, and it is returning a response, right? So we are just using the LLM to take action. Okay, we do not have access to external systems, right? Now, tool agent is able to be on the basis of user request, the agent is able to decide which tool to invoke. Okay, and on that decision, a tool gets executed, and then the result is returned to the LLM, and LLM provides us the response. This is the entire cycle which happens, right? So let's suppose I want to search the web, and I want to use Google search tool, right? So we can use that. We need to provide the access for that tool. Okay, we can execute the tool. Okay, let's suppose I want to query some database. So for that, LLM cannot do that for you. So we can provide the LLM access to various tools so that it can execute and get the results back for you. We can call external APIs as well. So for accessing any kind of external system, tools are very useful. Now, why do agents need tool? Okay, so without tool, what happened? Can only generate text from training data, right? No access to live or real world information. Cannot trigger operation or workflows. Okay, so in short, like we are like without tool, we are just using the LLM to do certain things. Okay, it is not having access to any real world information or your project information, right? It cannot trigger any kind of operation or workflows for you. But with tools, we are able to fetch live data. Let's suppose I want to know the value of a particular stock today. So for that, we can create a tool which will fetch data from external API, and as per the user request, it will return the value. Execute operation and automate tasks. Like with the help of tool, we are able to execute operations as well, and it helps us to automate our task, right? Let's suppose I want to retrieve some domain specific info from our local database. So what we can do, we can create some API using which we can retrieve the required information, and that API we can call with the help of a tool. So in short, let's suppose I am a human. So without hand and legs, what I can do? I can just think, but I cannot take any action. But because I have hand, I have legs, I'm able to take action as well. So real example, you can see that what is the latest news about AI. Okay, so AI, what it can do, it can call the LLM, but LLM is trained very early. Okay, it is not like we are not able to access real time data. To access real time data, we can invoke a tool called Google search tool, which will return live accurate results, right? It won't be stale because LLMs are trained on certain amount of data, and whenever we ask question, it returns the information based on the training data, right? It is not from the live data, and that's when tools came very handy. Now, built-in tools provided by Google ADK, because it is a Google product. Okay, many built-in tools are there, like we have Google search. Okay, we have code execution, right? And we have Vertex AI search tool. So all these tools, since it is a Google product, we can directly, without like creating our own tool, we can call these tools, right? Now, since I said that we need to create our tool, so we create our tool by creating custom functions. Okay, let's suppose I want to know the current time. What I can do, returns the current date and time is the like definition of this function. Okay, now what it returns? It returns the current time as this and the status, right? It is returning a JSON, right? And whenever we are like creating tool based agents, what we can do, we can follow some best practices. Use JSON serializable parameters. Okay, always return a dictionary. Write clear descriptive doc strings, like we have provided the doc string here, returns the current date and time. Okay, because if you do not provide the doc string, the agent will not be able to know which tool to invoke, okay, based on the scenario. Include a status and error message field, right? So if you provide the status and error message in case of like a difficult scenario, like unfavorable scenarios, you will get the error message at least. Now we'll know some limitation, because ADK cannot do everything for you. It has certain limitation. So ADK enforces constraint on how tools can be combined with single agent, right? We'll see it. So one built-in tool per agent. Let's suppose you are creating an agent, then you can use only one built-in tool, because they, like Google, they want you to be very specific while creating any agent. Okay, it should have a specific task. So when you provide multiple built-in tools which are having different capabilities, it generalizes the agent instead of making it particular. Now we'll discuss the tool agent architecture. So you have the model Gemini. Okay, now outside this we have the instruction and the tools. Okay, so the model or the LLM decides which tool to use, okay, using the instruction. And inside the like at the core sits the agent can invoke Gemini. Okay, and Gemini can decide which tool to invoke, or it needs to do it by itself, right? And after like getting the information from the tools, it will provide it back to the agent, right? This is the entire flow. So like user sends a query, the agent receives the input and evaluates the intent. The model decides to use a tool based on the instruction. Gemini determines which tool fits, and then tool executes, the results are returned. So results are returned from the tool to the Gemini model or the LLM, and then from there we get it passed to the agent. Now, if you want to run the tool-based agent, what we can do, we should activate the environment, because we have installed all the libraries there in our environment. We can launch the ADK web so that we can interact with the agent. We can open the localhost at 8000 port, because by default ADK creates the UI at this particular port. And then we can select the agent from the drop down, and we can start chatting, right? So we can try some of the prompts, right? So first prompt you can see is search for recent news about artificial intelligence. Okay, so what happens? Find information about Google Agents Development Kit. Okay, what are the latest advancement in quantum computing? These are examples of prompts, right? So these prompts require live data. Okay, so agent with the help of LLM only cannot help you with this. Okay, so we need to have tools so that we have access to the live data. Now, the key takeaways from this video. Okay, we understood agent plus tool is equal to action. Without tools, it can just answer your question based on the LLM or the brain of the agent. Built-in tools are ready. So whenever we need to use the built-in tools, they are already present with Google ADK, and we do not require to code anything for that. Custom tools are simple, right? So when we create custom tools, it is also very simple, where we create a Python function and then we return the values to the agent. Know the limits. So the limit is one tool per agent is only the permissible limit. Okay. So this is the core formula. Agent is equal to model, okay, which is the LLM, plus instruction plus tools. And this was the video, guys. So we learned what are tool-based agents, okay, and what are the limitations, okay, how to invoke the tool-based agent. Now in the next lecture, we'll be doing a particular lab so that you can all understand the things, okay. And if you have stayed till this point in this video, please press the like button, share and subscribe to Akansha Academy, and we'll be soon back with the actual lab for tool-based agent. Thank you so much.